Thank you. Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Kashabagita will be joining us, and Mayor Hepburn.
So please read the closed session item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have closed session on conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Negotiators, city manager, assistant city manager, and city attorney. Employee organizations, Laverne City Employees Association, Laverne Firefighters Association, Laverne Fire Middle Management Association, Laverne Police Officers Association, Laverne Police Middle Management Association, and all unrepresented employees. We also have a conference with legal counsel existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Gonzalez versus City of Laverne, LASC, case number 24STCV34625. I do not expect any reporting out. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Attorney Barlow. Council, do you have any comments? We're going to go ahead and open up public comment. Do we have any public comment on this item? Nothing online. I don't see anybody in the audience. We're going to go ahead and close public comment at this time. Thank you. At this time, we'll recess at 5:34 p.m. and reconvene at 6:30 for the regular city council meeting. Okay. We are going to start this meeting. Sorry, we're a little late. We had a closed session. We're going to start this meeting at 6:43 p.m. on October 6th. I want to remind everyone that for the city's rules of decorum, all speakers, members of the audience, and council members are to conduct themselves with decorum and not to engage in conduct that interrupts the orderly conduct of the city council meeting. Also, public comment through Zoom may be accepted for the agenda items listed within the consent calendar, public hearing, and discussion calendar section of the agenda. General public comments will be accepted at the meeting by those physically in attendance at the appropriate time. With that, Attorney Barlow, do we have a reporting out on our closed session?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council gave direction in closed session. No reportable action was taken.
Thank you very much. Tonight, we're very pleased to have Army veteran Sergeant Diana Towles to do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. If you would please come forward.
Good evening. Will first responders, active duty, and veterans please render salute? All others, please place your hands on your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
If you could please stand for just a second, please.
Well, another great day. Good evening, everybody here from our great city of Laverne. I am honored to be in presence of an Army veteran, Diane Towles. Correct? Thank you, God. And you know, it's a great opportunity that we have here in our great city to honor our veterans and our first responders that come to Pledge of Allegiance. But before I continue, give you this amazing certificate. This lovely city would love to know a little bit more about Army Sergeant Towles.
I was raised in California, Monrovia, California. I am currently a resident of Laverne. I love Laverne. Good job, guys. Good job. Excellent. I'm a 32-year employee of the University of Laverne, and go Leos. And I also served in the military for 4 years back in the early 80s. And some of that was in Germany. I loved it. I now work with veteran students, helping to run the Veteran Student Success Center at the University of Laverne.
Sergeant Towles, what was your MOS when you were in?
So it's something different than what they call it now, but we used to call it 05 Charlie. And that was actually a rat rig operator, and it was a field job. And so that's why I got Sergeant Stripes. It was great. It was a great job. I'm sorry. And then I got a secondary, and my secondary was a communications. And so I got to work in a communications center and have an awesome clearance and an awesome job and do work downtown Heidelberg, and it was great. No, actually, I was stationed at Flat Kasern in Augsburg, Germany.
Thank you. Thank you for God bless you in your service. The City of Laverne Certificate of Recognition presented to Diane Tolles. This certificate is presented on behalf of the Laverne City Council to Army Veteran Sergeant Diane Tolles with sincere gratitude and appreciation for a dedicated service to our country. God bless you. Think about 20.
Tonight we have three presentations. The first update from the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments President Ed Reese, who will provide an update on ongoing projects and receive input from Laverne City Council on the priorities of the future. Mr. Reese. Oh, wait, roll call. Wait, you'll have to just wait 1 second. Roll call, Mr. Domer. Thank you.
Mayor Ed Reese.
Present.
Yes. Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Kashapagita.
Present.
And Mayor Hepburn.
I think I'm here. I'm not sure. For those that don't know, Mr. Reese is a council member in the city of Claremont, but also he is the chair of the Gold Line Committee, also transportation chair. Also, he just took over as president of the COG, which I was 2 years. And he's accompanied by Ricky Choi, Steph Wong, and our executive director, Marissa Creeder. And it is I can't say enough about it. I'm going to let you do your spiel, because I know how great it is, and what you're doing right now is amazing, and we really appreciate you guys being here. We do as a group, and you as the new president now are just trailblazing again. So you have the floor, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor Hepburn, and good evening to all of you. As explained, I'm Ed Reese, and I proudly represent your neighboring city of Claremont. But I'm also honored to serve as the new president of the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. And today, I'd like to share a little bit about how the COG brings our cities together to tackle challenges, to deliver results, and to make our region stronger. I should have a slideshow that's coming up for you.
Here.
We got it.
No. We move forward? Okay. I got it.
I think he's got it. How many is this? How many cities is this now, Ed? I think it's ingrained in your brain.
Yeah, I've lost count. Unfortunately, the community won't see it, but I'll walk through the slides you do have in your hand. So if you go to your second slide, you'll see a map. And really, the COG is really about truly a partnership. It brings together 31 cities, 2 county supervisorial districts, and many other local agencies across the San Gabriel Valley. Our mission is simple but powerful. It's to give our region one strong, unified voice, to deliver projects and improve transportation, housing, and sustainability, and most importantly, to improve the quality of life for nearly 2 million residents who call the San Gabriel Valley home, including, in part, this great city of Laverne. The collaboration is really what makes us stronger, and it's really makes us stronger than the sum of our parts. The second slide you'll see a picture, I think, of myself and Mayor Hepburn, and that's on that slide.
He received the proverbial tie, which he's still wearing it.
Well, I will share on that particular slide. It's really about the leadership. A mission this big requires leadership, and that's where our executive committee comes in. I'm proud to serve alongside a group of committed local leaders, each chosen by their peers, to help guide the COG's priorities. They help set the direction, review policies, and make sure our work reflects the needs and values of our member cities. And in short, the executive committee and the governing board keep us grounded in the realities of our communities while keeping us focused on the future. As I talk about the executive board, and you see the picture of Mayor Hepburn, I am honored to serve with him as past president of the COG. So thank you, Mayor. Next slide. It's the one with the geo shapes. Yeah, that one. So as I talk about this slide here, I just want to talk about a little bit about how our leadership really extends outward through these policy committees that you see on that slide. These committees are where the real collaboration happens, where they can focus on issues that touch every city, whether it's capital projects, the environment, homelessness, and transportation. We also draw on the expertise of city managers and working groups so that our local voices really shape our regional direction. And this is where all of you come in. If you haven't already, and of course, Mayor Hepburn has done it for many years, if you haven't already, I encourage you to get involved. Your expertise, your experience will help ensure that your city's voice is heard and your residents' needs are reflected in our regional decisions. Next slide. You'll see a picture of the staff. And keep in mind, leadership, collaboration is really only part of the story. Implementation is what matters too. And that's where our staff shines. Under the leadership of Executive Director Marissa Creeder, our talented team takes ideas and turns them into action. They provide the expertise, the project management, and the support that make our shared city priorities move forward. Well, there you go. Next slide, please. So, let me just share a few examples of what collaboration has achieved. First, our construction authority. We're the only COG in Los Angeles County with this authority. We're delivering 19 major grade separation projects, each costing approximately $100 to $200 million at little or no cost to our cities. And today, we are expanding to highway improvements, transit facilities, and active transportation projects. Second, SB 1383 compliance. This state law requires us to cut food waste going to landfills. And the COG has helped cities triple their business compliance rates and at the same time help food banks to be able to use the food donation they receive by providing them with refrigerators and other equipment. This is really a true win-win situation where we're helping the environment and addressing food insecurity. And third, Measure M funding. Just last year, we directed $36.5 million to 17 San Gabriel Valley agencies for projects that make it easier and safer for people to get where they need to go. These are just a few snapshots, but they show real, tangible impacts that the COG has had in our communities. And beyond these regional wins, we also partner directly with cities in unique ways. Specifically about Laverne and around regional planning. The COG is currently overseeing the creation of the Community Wildlife Protection Plan. Our project, this particular project, is to protect our communities and their assets against potential wildfire hazards. And during the Eaton fire, it became devastatingly clear how quickly an uncontrolled blaze can threaten and destroy our foothill communities. To prepare for and prevent future events, the COG has partnered with state and local fire agencies to put an action plan in place. The plan involves prioritizing fuel reduction, educating residents on structural ignitability, and mapping new threats and vulnerabilities as they arise. Adoption of the Community Wildlife Protection Plan will make this city eligible for critical state wildfire funding programs. And thanks to CAL FIRE grants secured by the COG, this effort is fully funded and free to cities. I also like to speak a little bit about Measure M funding. The COG Governing Board awarded $2 million in Measure M funding for the city's bike and pedestrian infrastructure. This critical funding will help expand safe and accessible and sustainable transportation options while enhancing mobility and improving connections to key destinations such as schools, jobs, transit hubs, and community facilities. And just a little bit more about our project management. As part of the East San Gabriel Valley Sustainable Multimodal Improvements Project, the COG is overseeing the development of new pedestrian bridge in Laverne that will provide safe and direct access to Metro's A-Line station. This project is designed to improve first and last mile connections for riders, enhance pedestrian safety, and encourage greater use of public transit. By strengthening the link between the surrounding community and the regional rail network, the bridge will play a key role in supporting sustainable, accessible, and multimodal transportations in the San Gabriel Valley. Now, I shared with you some specific examples for your city, but the bigger point is this. The COG is dedicating to meeting you where you are, to support your local priorities, and to also build something bigger and larger across this region. Next slide. So at the heart of this is what binds us all together, our shared love for the San Gabriel Valley. That is why I launched the iHeart SGV program. It grew from my deep belief that we are stronger when we celebrate our common values and communities we call home. This program is about bringing our member cities, and through them, our residents, together in shared pride and appreciation for the San Gabriel Valley. For me, it's also personal. My love of public service, it's soul-feeding. And this program is a way of showing my gratitude for our region, for our cities, and for the people who make the San Gabriel Valley such a special place to live. The COG exists to serve you, your council, your staff, and your residents. By working together, our collective voice is louder, our reach is farther, and we can deliver projects and services no city can do alone. As president, my number one priority right now is to listen. I want to hear from you, your needs, your challenges, your opportunities, so that we can make sure that you are gaining the most from your involvement with the COG. So, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I'm committed to working with you in keeping and strengthening the San Gabriel Valley we all love. Thank you for allowing me some time this evening. And I would be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Reese. It goes without saying what the COG does, especially for our city with all our affiliations with all the other agencies, SCAG, and getting the funding for the bridge. I really do appreciate that, and we're working on getting that thing built as soon as possible. I'm preaching to the choir. You guys do a great job. I mean, we're one of, I think, the finest COG, if not in California, but in the nation. So, and with the construction arm and all of the other outreach for our food recovery programs, and as you stated, our homeless, the regional housing trust, things that we do with the money. Every dollar we receive, I say it's $1.50 we've used in good use. So, but thank you very much. Do we have any questions for Mr. Reese? Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. And we'll post that up too on our website. So if anybody has questions, they can get a hold of you guys. And
sounds great.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, two other items. One is, as I shared a little bit about the iHeart SGV program, as you can see that I'm wearing a specific pin, our iHeart SGV pin. Tonight, I'd like to leave pins for all of you, and so that you can wear them proudly around the San Gabriel Valley and beyond, and show your love for your community. Second, I do have another presentation in Pomona, so forgive me as I do have to leave. But thank you for allowing me some time.
Thank you very much. President Reese, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. They're magnetic. Here, give them down there.
Oh, the magnet. Watch out now.
Are we done with the magnets now, you guys? Children, are we done with the magnets? Yeah, sure. Next is a proclamation for Fire Prevention Month. Every October is recognized as National Fire Prevention Month to raise fire safety awareness and help protect homes and families. The Laverne Fire Department works diligently to protect the community against potential wildfires, and during this time, we'll provide a few tips residents implement to prevent fires. Community Risk Reduction Specialist Lonnie Shipman, please come forward. Come on, guys. You want to come down with me? Verne, proclamation. Whereas the fire prevention. Almost as good as. That's low below. Whereas fire prevention is essential for safeguarding lives and property, as proactive measures significantly reduce the risk of fire-related tragedies in homes, schools, and businesses. And whereas the Laverne Fire Department actively works to protect our community by providing fire safety education, conducting inspections, and promoting fire-safe practices that reduce the city's fire risk. And whereas during Fire Prevention Week, residents are reminded to practice essential fire safety, including testing smoke alarms, creating escape plans, keeping flammable materials away from. And whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern locally and nationally, the presence of lithium-ion batteries in any household. And whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention theme, Charge into Fire Safety, lithium-ion batteries remind us of recycling batteries safely. Now be a 11th fire FPA.org. Take to protect their families from fire hazard. 6th day of October. Thank you, Lonnie. I think you have a few words. You want to bring some people up?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. And yeah, so again, the theme this year is really about lithium-ion safety in your home, and it's really critical to realize lithium-ion batteries are in everything: your cell phones, your laptops, you have scooters in your home, all kinds of electronics. So it's really critical and important to just pay attention when you're charging those items. Use only the provided charging cables. If you have to purchase another one, UL listed is definitely the way to go. Ensure that you're keeping an eye on those things. If they start to smell funny, or they're smoking, or they seem like they're really overly hot when you're charging, it's probably about that time to properly recycle that particular battery and get a new battery or a new component. So really make it a point to just pay attention to these things, because these are very critical, dangerous things that we've got to just keep an eye on. And fire prevention is really, it's a year-round effort. We have a week every year that we celebrate, and we try to just bring attention to a particular matter. But fire prevention, particularly in Laverne in this region with wildfires, is definitely an ongoing concern. And so one of the initiatives from NFPA that we were able to successfully have a group of residents enact is our FireWise program to become the first FireWise recognized community in Laverne. So with that, I'd like to bring up a couple of members of the Rustic Canyon FireWise community, Raymond Swain and Jim Gilmartin, who I'd like to have say a few words.
just a couple of words here. I became involved in this Rustic Canyon Firewise initiative because our homeowners canceled high fire area. At that time, our only option was California Airport. Much higher cost. You know, and then after absorbing this initial shock, I asked myself, what could I do? That same night, Chief Nig was doing a presentation on fire prevention, fire safety, and included a segment, Firewise opportunity. Upon discussions with the county and with Mayor Tim, I got volunteered to say, yes, I would love to go out there and organize our Rustic Canyon community. And then I'm now tonight thrilled to announce that our Rustic Canyon community has indeed been recognized by Firewise USA. That means that we have completed an assessment of our community based upon the number of criteria outlined by Firewise, then developed a 3-year plan to mitigate wildfires at both the home level and for our community as a whole. Current task is to develop a community-wide communication that help educate our home and our community, as well as the actions they can take to harden their wildfire. I think Jim Gilmartin here and the rest of our neighborhood team, along with Chief Nig, Connie, for their support.
Fantastic, and congratulations to you guys. And we do have a special guest that would like to really make sure that we celebrate Fire Prevention Week. Our very friend Sparky here, who wanted to get a picture with you guys. So, yes, Sparky, the steward of fire safety. So, Sparky, come on over here. Let's get a photo.
You just got back 3 weeks away, you know. Thanks, Lonnie, and thank you, gentlemen, for doing such a great way to get our, especially our area as a Firewise community. Thank you. Our third presentation is for Breast Cancer Awareness Month fundraisers. The Laverne Police Department, LVPD, and Laverne Firefighters Association are each raising funds to support breast cancer research. LVPD will share updates on their Pink Patch program. Thank you very much. Initiative, while LVFA will showcase their fundraising merchandise. And that would be Holly Savage. Get up here. And who wasn't at the officer appreciation thing because her chief didn't tell her where it was yesterday, but I won't say anything, but that's okay. I can get in trouble for that, chief. Holly, get up.
Oh, that's me. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Just really quickly, we're going to get you out of here. October, as everybody knows. And once again, for the 9th year, we Pink Patch Project started in 2015 in Irwindale, and it started with 25 LA County agencies. 5 were at over 500, and we are international. Got Madrid, Spain on board. So many cool countries. It's really exciting to be a part of it still. Again, thank you to Chief Gonzalez for allowing us to participate. So this year, you may see some of our officers wearing patches, and they do that not only to promote the sale of the merchandise, but they do it to encourage the community. So one of the things that we don't talk about is our health well enough. So unfortunately, in 2025, they're predicting that over 360,000 of invasive women. That will equate to about, I'm sorry, 1,000 deaths. Early detection saves lives. The 5-year survival rate detected early is 100% now localized, but if it's metastatic, that drops down. Encourage, support your women, support your men. Everybody needs to have the doctor time to get checked. Let's see how you can support the program. Well, we have lots of merchandise for sale, and I have some wonderful models that are going to help model our merchandise. Oh, perfect. So Chief Gonzalez has our 2025 T-shirt. Excellent. Thank you, sir. And Police Support Services Manager Biederman has our hooded sweatshirt. There's our hat. And, of course, here is our pink patch. T-shirts and hats are $25, and the hoodies are $50. Patches are $10. And for us, all of our proceeds go to the city. And over the past 9 years, we've raised almost $5,000 from the support of our community.
Where can you buy this, Holly?
So you can buy these at the department Monday through Thursday. And then we have all the information on our social media as well. So you can buy them Monday through Thursday, or if we're at an event, you can purchase them at the events. And we sell all year round, so we're sold out. So it's not over at the end of October. Anytime you see me, let me know, and I'll hook you up. Thank you. And then we have Laverne Fire coming in.
Thank you. So everything that Holly said, we can agree with, and we are following in suit. Yes, I am. I'm Todd Haratunian of Laverne Fire Captain. We're entering our 12th year wearing our breast cancer shirts and our hats. We've partnered with the Susan G. Komen Foundation with the Inland Empire chapter. Chose this group because this would be the organization that would help any of our loved ones for all of us that live locally. So that's why we chose this group. And so we're wearing them for the month, and we have them for sale. I do have a couple of young models. We have the men's shirts. We have the women's shirts, better cut, the men's. And over the last 11 years, we've also raised over $25,000 with just doing T-shirts. What's unique, what's nice also is that next Sunday, or this upcoming Sunday, we are also going to participate in a 5K walk down in Marietta. And so we have a team down there, and we sell shirts down there as well. Those of us who want to, we walk in our turnouts. We have a special pink SCBA bottle. Then we take hundreds of photos with everybody along the route. But so we do that as a one-day event in October, Marietta. But then throughout the month, we will be selling these. We have them. We have an inventory that we are going to sell out, and we are selling them on. Let's see, we have it on the 18th of this month and the 1st of November from 9 to 12. It's Saturday. And then while everybody's doing their trick-or-treating on Halloween from 2 to 5, we'll also be selling them out there at the station. But what's unique for this year is we've gone digital, and we have Printify, so you can go online and anybody can buy them. We have sweatshirts, hats, and the T-shirts, and a couple of different designs, and you can get them shipped directly to you. If you are interested in doing the walk or purchasing one of the shirts from our website, we have both websites and the links on either Laverne Fire Department Instagram, along with our website, along with our association, Laverne Firefighters Association page. So if you're interested, want to either donate or participate in the 5K walk, that's this upcoming Sunday. Then if you have any questions, reach out to any firefighter wearing. Perfect.
Thank you, guys, very much. Now we move on to announcements of upcoming community events. And this is not public comment. This is announcements of what's coming up in our city as far as things that are happening. We have, quite frankly, a ton of stuff. We have this Saturday on October 11th, it's the vendor fair at Heritage Park. I think it starts from 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock till 3. 10 o'clock till 3? 10 o'clock till 3. And then we have our trunk or treat, correct? That starts on Saturday, and that starts at, what time does that start, guys? 5 o'clock? I needed to check with City Manager Domer. I know that people have to sign up for that. Do we know where we're at with the signing up as far as to come through that? Do we know where we're at with that and if there's still available spots? Because I was going to do a minute with the mayor to kind of push it, but I know that it's very successful.
I will find out before you do that minute with the mayor.
Thank you very much. So that, and what else? Do we have any other upcoming events that you're public comment?
The Halloween Hop that's coming on Friday, October 24th. And that's for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities in that community center. It's an awesome dance. They do one about once every quarter, and they're amazing.
And I will remind everybody at the back of the city council agenda, there is a full roster of dates and stuff. And do we have anyone here for announcements? Well, come on up.
Good evening, everybody. This is Kathy Kalusek, Vice President of our Laverne Historical Society. So speaking of trunk or treat, we will have our 1938 International there with its giant witch's hat and other assorted decorations, and also,
do the eyeballs,
of course,
do the lights move?
treats.
The eyeballs move, Kat?
They don't move. You know,
have to do that.
If you can get me something like that, that'd be cool.
Like that.
now you gotta find something. We might have eyeballs though, but I'll see how it turns out on Saturday. So we will be there. Monday, October 13th, we'll be having our community meeting. It will be at the Veterans Hall, and our special guest speaker will be Matthew Ween, Superintendent of Bonita Unified School District. And after the presentation, we will also be having ice cream sundaes, all that. So for a small donation, we will have ice cream with Sherry's homemade hot fudge. I think there's probably still salted caramel and strawberry sauces. So join us for that. And then in November, Saturday, November 8th, from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, we're going to have our home tour and vintage sale. At 11 o'clock, we're going to be having a bronze marker ceremony, and this will be at 2610 3rd Street. So meet us there, and then if you want to leave and come back, just come between 11 and 3. So join us for the ceremony, and then each tour site, there'll be 3, will have a table set up with vintage treasures, and we'll have lots of jams and jellies, and also some of the ice cream sauces and things like that. So come join us, do early holiday shopping, and enjoy visiting beautiful homes. I also did bring some jams and jellies, a little marmalade. I have a second flat if this one sells out in my van, but it was too much for me to carry. So as always, the full size is 10, the half size is 5, and those are Sherry's all homemade made. And then also you can support our historical society by having membership, and it's 20 for individuals, 25 for families, and 200 for lifetime. And all our proceeds go to all the restoration projects we do, the bronze marker, all cases at the schools, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to leave a few of these and a few of our calendars on the table, and I'll be announcing again second meeting.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Kathy.
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Come on up. Yes. Yvonne Gallegos.
Hello, my name is Yvonne Gallegos. I first want to announce that we will be having our monthly CASI meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. At the Citrus Room at Hillcrest. So if anybody's interested in coming, please feel free to attend. We are updating and revising our bylaws, so we're always looking for thoughts and feedback on the newly revised bylaws. We're also collecting books for Hispanic Heritage Month to provide to our little library. So if anybody has any books by Hispanic authors or about the Hispanic culture, we invite you to donate your books. And if you can't make it tomorrow to the meeting, please just send an email to cassie.laverne@gmail.com, and we'll arrange for pickup for those books. The other thing that I do want to talk about is Pomona Valley Pride will be having a Pride Festival on Saturday, November 8th from 1 o'clock to 6 p.m., and it's going to be right here in our backyard at the Fairplex. It's a free event for the community. Cassie will have a table and will be involved, so we want to make sure that everybody's invited, and I'll announce it again right before it happens. So that's about it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Yvonne. Any other? Mr. Bowen.
Not playing favorites, but I wore my police hat tonight. Good evening, council. Before I announce this, I just want to make a point, and I feel okay with sharing this. About a month ago, I felt a lump in my chest, and I went to my doctor, and I kind of blew it off, and he felt it, and he says, let me see. I think maybe I ought to get an ultrasound. Luckily, came back negative. No big deal. But I'm just here to tell all the men in this room, it does happen. And they send you to get a breast, essentially, ultrasound. And it felt kind of weird, but thought, hey, better get it done. So anyway, just a note that it does happen. Not to me, thank God. 7 years ago, October 1st, 2018, a small group of residents got together to discuss issues that were important to them regarding our great city. The main issues at that time were the ongoing issues of the mistreatment of our firefighters. Second to that was the kind of verbal assault on one of our council members accused of violating the Brown Act. Tim Hepburn was the target of the previous city manager, city attorney, and 4 council members. The city passed Resolution 1851 and 1852, essentially stripping Tim of all his major council business. From that meeting, we formed the Laverne Coalition of Concerned Citizens, also known as the LV3C. From that small group of around 20 residents, our group has grown to over 715 members. This Wednesday, October 8th, we are meeting at the Lighthouse Baptist Church, 2800 White Avenue, beginning at 6 p.m. to discuss current issues important to Laverne residents, including but not limited to the potential doubling of our water sewer rates in just 18 months, beginning in January of 2026. Another subject is the lack of a contract with our Laverne Police Department. It's been months now, and the POA, as far as I know, does not have a contract, and that seems ludicrous for the safety of our citizens. As far as the meeting is concerned, we are, other subjects will be anything that anyone wants to ask, and it won't be subject to the Brown Act. So what we're hoping this time, as we have in the past, is that we will be able to ask questions and we will get answers. It is my understanding that the assistant city manager will be in attendance. Mr. Mayor, you have said you will be in attendance. The police captain will be in attendance, and the director of city finance will be in attendance. So hopefully all questions should be answered. We welcome everyone to have your voices heard, your questions asked and answered. We look forward to seeing many of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
Thank you, Andy. You were there that night. We appreciate it.
And I'm glad to hear about your news. No news is good news, right? No. Anyone else wish to speak on announcements? Aaron and Andrea. Andrea, come. Oh, that's not what it said, but whatever.
Well, we begged our bosses to write us a blue note for us, so they had mercy.
Don't have them do it again, okay? I'll write yours.
Good evening. I just wanted to remind you guys, update the public, that the annual community survey is open. So as you might remember, last year, around the same time, we did our first community survey. We had about 380 people respond, and their feedback and their ratings of the different questions that we asked helped inform that strategic planning process that we did in May. And and so then this year we're doing another one. Our hope is that it'll be every year, and we see how Laverne is going through the years. And this will help inform our strategic planning process that's happening in February of this upcoming year. So I got the months confused in my mind. So right now, if you can go to laverneca.gov/survey to get to the survey, you can go to our homepage, and it's the first thing you'll see. You can go to our social media, and it is linked, and there's an Instagram reel that I beg you to like because it got so few, and I'm very sad. My vanity wants those likes. Anyway, we really hope to get more resident feedback this year. If we can beat that 380, that would be amazing. It'll be open through probably the end of October if we're getting enough responses. We're also sending information to the school districts. We'll send some more stuff out on social media, but we're hoping to get resident feedback on a whole variety of topics, and there's some new stuff in there from last year. So if you think, oh, I did it last year, we'd still really love your opinion this year as well. Thank you.
Can you send me that?
Of course.
Please send it to all of us so that we can share that.
Yeah.
But also send us the flyer.
Yeah.
That way we can post that, and we can do a minute with the mayor. We can do a minute with the council member, just to let everybody know that this is really important.
Yeah, will do.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Rhea. Not together, separate.
No, actually, I need Aaron. We are going to alternate words. No, I'm kidding. I'm here to announce the continuation of our community forums. Our last one we hosted at Hillcrest gave us great insights on how to continue this forward. Our next one is on Wednesday, October 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. It's at Lighthouse Baptist Church. This is a time for residents, if they have any questions, they can have their questions answered, provide insights to us. You live in the community, you know it best. Let us know what you're looking for. So we've posted on social media. We have it on our website. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us.
Can we get that posted to all of us also?
Yeah,
please?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Yes. Mr. Domer.
I will do. So, Mr. Mayor, there was somebody here earlier at 5:30, though she could not stay around to 6:30.
I saw them in
I
saw them in the chambers.
That was Anne Marie Miller. She's the CEO of Project One Cause. So Project One Cause is a nonprofit organization providing financial aid and education support for families with children affected by non-fatal drowning and hypoxia and anoxic brain injuries. They have 5 families needing support at this time and are holding a trivia event fundraiser on Saturday, November 1st from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Hillcrest Meeting House. Cost is $75 and tables of 8 are available. Food and beverage available, prizes for best worst tables, and other exciting. For more information, please go to www.projectonecause.org. There'll be more information. There's a QR code over here on the table if you want that.
That's an extremely good cause. They do a very good job, and it's such a dramatic situation when you have those happen. I've talked to her multiple times. She's really great. Their organization does a lot of really good stuff and helps families. So whatever we can do to help them and get them out there as far as information, let's do that, please. Okay, thank you. We're going to close announcements. Appreciate everyone announcements. We'll move on to consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are routine and will be enacted by one motion. Unless a member of the City Council or a member of the audience requests separate discussion or just wants to make a statement on one item. Council, are there any request to pull an item? Mr. Domer, was anything requested?
No, sir.
And with that,
I move to approve the consent calendar.
do I have a second?
Second.
Vote, please.
Motion to approve the consent calendar by Crosby, seconded by Cashel-Figuita, and approve 5-0.
Did he write on there? Steve wrote on there, left there last time. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. He votes no on it. Okay. There is one item on the discussion calendar tonight, the award contract of the citywide signing and striping project. City Manager Domer, please call forward the staff member who will be reporting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That'll be Danny Wu, the Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. The item before you this evening is the award of a construction contract for the citywide signing and striping CIP project number MI 2402. Normally, this item would be an item on the consent calendar, but staff wanted to take the opportunity to highlight this particular project because it had some traffic mitigation safety strategies that were brought up at our first community forum. So wanted to highlight some of the great work that the department is working on. The purpose of this project is to improve striping, signage, and pedestrian safety across several key roadways in Laverne by refreshing deteriorated pavement striping and markings and to enhance visibility and safety at major corridors and intersections throughout the city. The project will specifically include new thermoplastic striping and pavement markings along portions of Baseline Road, Bonita Avenue, and Fruit Street, installation of high visibility ladder crosswalks near schools, and the replacement of faded traffic regulatory signs and installation of reflective bordered backplates at traffic signals to improve nighttime and power outage visibility. These backplates are the yellow reflective strips that frame the traffic signals and provide significant visibility, particularly at night and during power outages. According to the Federal Highway Administration, studies have shown that installing these reflective backplates have resulted in 15% to 24% reductions in crashes at signalized intersections nationwide. These improvements are part of the city's ongoing efforts to improve roadway conditions and align with current Caltrans striping standards. The project was advertised and 2 bids were received and opened on September 3rd after a 13-day bid period. The lowest bid submitted by Demo Leaders Incorporated was determined to be non-responsive because they had omitted required information regarding subcontractor utilization. In accordance with Public Contract Code Section 4104, this information is mandatory, so staff is recommending rejection of that bid. The second lowest bid, submitted by Superior Pavement Markings, was responsive and responsible with a total recommended contract award of $375,944. This amount is below the engineer's estimate and reflects both the base work and the selected additive alternate items that expand safety enhancements to additional intersections. As part of the department's annual budget process, the council previously appropriated a total of $465,000 for the CIP project, consisting of $315,000 in gas tax funds and $150,000 in right-of-way funds. The estimated total project cost, including contingency, professional services for design and construction support, is estimated at $458,500, which is within the available budget. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council reject the lowest bid from demo leaders as non-responsive. 2, award a contract to Superior Pavement Markings in the amount of $375,944. And 3, authorize the city manager or designee to execute the agreement and related documents, including change orders consistent with the city's procurement policies. This concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. I think let's open up public comment first,
okay.
and we'll come back to the dais. Probably need you in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment on this item. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Don't run up here all at once. Okay, we're going to close public comment. Mr. Johnson.
Danny, I was wondering, are these projects, do the contractors have a bond of any sort to guarantee completion?
Yes.
Then why would we be eliminating the low bid?
Again, the low bid was determined as unresponsive because they did not provide all the required information on subcontractor utilization.
So I guess if the project is bonded, that means a bonding company is responsible if the contractor doesn't complete it correctly. So why are we not taking this low bid?
Let me call up Cody to help answer this question.
Good evening, Council. So part of the public contract code requires that when bids are submitted, that the contractors, the prime in this situation, identify any subs. The language is subs completing work of $10,000 or 0.5% of the total bid, whichever is higher, must be listed. In this situation, demo leaders submitted a sublist. Now, they don't have to use subs. I'll clarify that for council. But they submitted a sublist that indicated that they were using a signal contractor, I assume for the backplate work, but failed to describe to what extent, either through percentage of the contract or dollar figure, that signal contractor was going to conduct this work. And I'm not sure that this is exactly everything that goes behind why this legislation is in place, but the situation of bid shopping, where a prime contractor can, let's say, win a low bid, and then go back after the fact and, in less than ideal situations, leverage subs to force lower prices. And so that I believe is the key source of why this is. But frankly, from the construction standpoint, it is also helpful to understand who's doing what and having a full understanding of that. And so in this situation, the prime contractor, Demo Leaders, Inc., failed to identify the percentage use and thus was deemed non-responsive for that. So, yes, absolutely love their price. Would certainly like to do a project for less. However, being that we are obligated to follow the code, that is where the conclusion of the recommendation landed.
Question. Sorry. With the backplating, that is, I know we already see them by the freeway. That's going to happen on every single light in Laverne?
Not every light. I believe 13 intersections.
Okay. Yep. But are they going to complete actually then of our major intersections, like on Foothill and Baseline?
Baseline is included in most of the major intersections along Bonita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Foothill is within the Caltrans jurisdiction. Yep.
Very slowly.
Yeah, really.
And then the funds, and I know where they come from, but I just want to repeat for all of our residents too. They're coming from the gas tax. This is not coming out of general fund.
Correct. Okay. These are from restricted funds, gas tax, and the right-of-way fund.
Yep.
Councilmember Lau.
This is probably a question for our attorney, but just to ensure that any subcontractors that this prime would be using, all the terms would be flowed down in terms of insurance, indemnity, et cetera?
Yes, that's all required by the contract.
Okay.
And we did take a look at the recommendation to reject the low bidder based upon the
lack of information.
The lack of information and verified that that was appropriate.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Cash. Nothing? Huh?
I just have a hard time.
Let me
Go
do
ahead.
mine, Steve, and then I'm in concurrence with Councilmember Johnson. The problem I have is the fact that we had other bidders that didn't respond and planted bids, which to me doesn't make sense. There's a number of striping companies out there that do this for a living. My second is I did look up Demo Leaders, Inc. They're a demolition company, if I've got the right one. I didn't see anything on them on striping, and they were $91,000 lower, $91,511.50. My issue is that we're only using one bidder, so we're going to $91,571 more with superior pavement markings. My issue is the 206 funds and the 406 funds. If we find a contractor that comes even close to that, if we were to go back out to bid and say, okay, here we go, we're going to go out to bid, if we can get more contractors in there to bid this, that we may be able to get these same prices lower, that we can do more work with these funds. And that's what I always look at. What can we do more with these funds if there's stuff left over? You know, that $91,000 is left on the table. Understanding the rules and the laws, I get it. But my feeling is that we need to put this out again. This isn't something that's an emergency. Yes. Do we need it? Absolutely. And remember, this is something we're doing ahead of time before we do a repayment project. So we're kind of doing it for the safety of our residents and using these funds, which is a great use of funds, and we may not touch those streets for 3 to 5 years or 10 years, depending on our CIP project. My concern is that in the terminology and in what you said was that following opening of the bid, city staff made efforts to contact some of the likely bidders for the project to assess why they did not submit a bid for the project. Responses to the city's inquiries had not been returned at the time this report was written. I think for diligence and also for the cost savings, if we go out to bid again, let's put it out to planet bid. Let's go and see if we can get, competitive bidders to see where we're at, and then come back to us and say, okay, we did the process. We only have 2 here. I'm always just not leery, but I just don't like the fact that we only have two bidders and then one's disqualified. We only have 1 bidder. Yes, we're using these funds that come from our state and federal, but at the end of the day, we need to be using them wisely, and I just think we should go out to bid. That's my personal opinion. Councilor Lau.
I have a couple of questions. So in terms of the 6 self-identified prime contractors, can you tell me when we went out to ask them why they didn't bid?
Yes. Shortly after, we opened the bids on a Tuesday. I believe I made those phone calls the following Wednesday afternoon, if I'm not mistaken.
This is in September, correct?
Correct.
And we haven't heard it. So did we just call them once? Is there, was it just radio silence completely from all 6?
So I did reach out to the estimating departments for each of the likely respondents. And I can understand why they maybe didn't call me back, because they're not necessarily interested in divulging information. And so while the request was made, there is possibly reasons why they didn't call beyond just, they were too busy to call me back as well. So, so it was shortly after we followed up, and unfortunately didn't. One thing, and it's mentioned in the report, but I'll state it for councils just to highlight, striping contractors generally are not prime contractors on contracts. They generally are subs in that position. They're working with paving companies, whether it's a slurry seal like a project we've got active in the city right now, or future pavement projects that are on the horizon. Obviously, with the prime position comes a certain level of responsibility. I can say I have personally worked with Superior Pavement Marking in a prime position, but I just want to highlight the council's information. That could also be part of why they did not choose, because of administrative costs, headaches that come with that. Purely speculation, but just something that a thought that came across my mind is why maybe we didn't get as many bidders on that.
No, and that makes sense. My other question is with relation to the funds, the gas tax and the right-of-way funds. That's cash in hand, or that's money in hand. Is there any timeline in terms of when it needs to be spent or anything like that?
I don't. Yeah. I'll let you know.
No, there's no particular timeline.
Right. So it doesn't revert if we don't use it.
We don't have to give them back.
Okay.
Right.
Is there, do you think the possibility of the fact, I mean, let's face it, we've got, with our lowest bidder at 318, including all, that's over $250,000. I mean, it's a little bit of work, but yet at the end of the day, and then you have one that's almost at $500,000.
But what concerns me, though, is what you said earlier, is that demo leaders, at least the one you found, does demolition and does not do striping.
Well, I couldn't find them doing striping.
So that makes me nervous. Maybe
it made me nervous too, because we have two bidders that no, and I didn't. They may have a division that does that, and that's where we have that's with the sub at the 10%. Probably was an issue that they were using other people. I get it. I do that myself. But at the end of the day, you have one that was disqualified, and you only have one. Can we go out to bid? We're not under a time constraint. Yes, we need to make it safer for our residents, but if we can do it safer, maybe we can do more striping with more funds.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, if we could award to the low bidder that price, there's no qualms about it. It's a fantastic price. Mayor, I believe the demo leaders that you found is the same demo leaders that I found. Mm-hmm. Generally, and I can't speak to their whole resume, but generally it does look based on their projects that they shared with us in the original bid. What is highlighted on their website is that they tend to be, as the name would indicate, more of a demolition construction
That's
type
all the
company.
Pictures I saw.
I did reach out to them to ask if they could elaborate on their experience and how they intended to, because they did not list any striping subs, so by that they would be doing the striping themselves, how they intended to proceed with the work. What they did share with me was something to the effect of 3, maybe 4, memory is a little foggy on that, parking lot striping projects. Generally private on-site construction. So, yes, council member, wow, I agree. It is a little bit of a different scale.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they
yes.
carry the insurances because they're a demo contract and they do large projects. But at the end of the day, that's not a great resume. No. And not only that, we're dealing with streets and slowdowns. We're dealing with cones. We're dealing with traffic stops. We're dealing with a lot of stuff that's a safety for our residents.
Yes. So one thing that I'll add for council's consideration, or just background information, we always look to have projects go smoothly. Striping is, technically this is not paint, but it's pigmented material. It's thermoplastic, so it's going to last longer. But once that goes down, if there's a mistake, you have to grind it off. There is no paint thinner for thermoplastic. So if there was an issue, and I have had the unfortunate situation of stripers working at night and getting sloppy, where they did not do a satisfactory job, and the result was they had to go back and basically redo it all, which caused no cost to the agency in this particular situation that I'm referring to, but certainly a headache, no doubt on that. Disruption to community, certainly anybody fronting the street that drives the street on a day-to-day basis. So a qualified striper is certainly something you want to have. And I'm not saying demo leaders isn't qualified and they couldn't complete the work. I'm just saying that they did not fulfill the paperwork obligations. And so that's where we...
There are other companies out there. You have multiple companies that just did not bid or bid on time.
Correct.
Yeah, that was my...
But question, though, it was in the report that Danny, Mr. Wu gave earlier, that before going out to bid, you had a price that you believed was competitive. and this was still lower, correct?
Correct. So for each project, sometimes we disclose it, sometimes we don't. There's certain strategies involved, but we'll put together an engineer's estimate. That engineer's estimate is basically a breakdown of if I think a project is going to cost, whether it's $1 million, $100,000, whatever the number is based on the quantities put together. It's a key tool, one, to make sure that when we put projects out, that those projects are scaled and tailored appropriately to the budget. So if the budget allows for, let's say, $1 million paving project, that we don't put together a scope that ends up at 1.2, because frankly, that really doesn't serve the city any benefit. It wastes everybody's time. And so we seek to try to prepare those estimates. This particular project, the estimate was $340 for the base bid, if I recall correctly. And that was the base bid only, because we're basing the low bidder on the base bid. And so, yeah, that's put together based on market data that we crunch from local projects, various other agencies. We mine that information, kind of rule of thumb, experience. All that gets scaled into, ultimately an estimate, but an engineer's estimate. Yes?
I personally would like to see it go out to bid again. That would be my recommendation. We reject this and go out to competitive bid again. We're not under a restraint. I think it would be better for serving our purposes to our community and using these two funds in an extremely cost-effective manner. I don't.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
Wait.
I guess my only concern, and I throw this out there as devil's advocate, is that if we did have if we did have contractors that were identified and reached out to, I don't think this is a case where staff didn't do their work to get it. I mean, I know we've had other, conversations. And I agree. If there's no rush, I'm not against it. I just would take into consideration, you've got subject matter experts who have heard us from before, what our expectations are with regard to obtaining bids. Like I said,
It's no harm, no foul. I'm not blaming anybody for anything. The fact that they were non-responsive, and the two that we had, one was disqualified. We have one that's got a price that's within range, but at the end of the day, I don't like one bid.
Yeah. So
I think
do we believe that there are other contractors other than these 6 that were identified that we could reach out to, or
yeah, there's probably a handful more in my experience that I've worked with. What we can do, so the city does a bidding process with Planet Bids, which is, I'd say a fantastic system. The public contract code requires that we post bids in the newspaper, and I don't know how many contractors are really looking in the newspaper. There's one or two still out there.
That's the old way back in the 70s.
Contracting is by word of mouth and by bid documents and bid situation like that.
Yes. So one of the strategies that we have used in times where the workload was very, very heavy in the region and getting a contractor's attention has been difficult. As we can make further outreach, say, hey, contractor X, this project is out to bid. You can find the bid documents here. Send those emails. We don't want to give any preference to anybody, certainly, but anybody who's shown quality work and the ability to complete it, we always try to reach out. And so that helps. Planet Bids is a great system, but I can also imagine that they also get overwhelmed with just the constant notifications that come out. And, if there's a lot of stuff bidding that day, sometimes not everybody makes the list for what they submit the bid. So
I look at this, we're going into December, which is generally a slow month for construction. People are going to grab onto this and say, hey, I can make a filler for my people to be busy for a month and a half, and that, during the holidays. I mean, it's just a fact of contracting. Come October, November, it stops, and I'm sure that part of it's the same.
Yes. So we have noticed, and construction prices have sort of flatlined. Where they go from the future, I'm not sure.
Not as flat as I'd like them.
Yes, but they have flatlined. One thing that we will have to do is, because we can't just retake the same set of specs and put it back out, I will reconfigure. I think what we'll do is put out something similar and still benefiting the city and the residents to the same extent, but we'll have to kind of tweak a few things here or there just to make sure that we're not opening the same exact set of bids again.
On that question, we know we have a number of schools that have the safety crosswalks and things like that, and that was one of the things that I was thinking of, the fact that if there is more money in this to be able to put in the lit stop signs, the solar panel ones that blink to let our safety of our children and our residents at night coming across the streets, or even during the day they're so bright you can see them, things like that.
Yeah, White Avenue there at 8th Street.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I think that's really where I'm going to, but I think it would serve the purpose.
Okay.
Better, but
appreciate that.
My question would be, because I believe that you all did your job by putting out, and people did not respond, telling me that they did not want to do this project either. How long would going out to rebid then delay them to doing this? Because going across of our schools and crosswalks, I'd rather that done tomorrow than done in 5 months. My feeling is to go with the people that responded and the appropriate bid that's been given to us.
So as far as the duration, we have certain minimum obligations for posting bids. We can extend this one out. This is a little bit more of a commodity type scale of scope, linear length of certain known features, so that should have been a relatively easy bid for folks to put together. But we can extend the time, give a little bit more headway, so that as they're approaching and working on their schedules, we can hopefully get some better response on that. I would say today is Monday. I could probably change the specifications by tomorrow, Wednesday, and we can get the notice inviting bids out to the newspapers that we're obligated to do to hit the paper for this Friday. So we could turn that around, I think, with some quick speed there. It would be a matter of posting it, opening bids, making the next council agenda. So not sure. Certainly probably not the second meeting in October that would be likely. Potentially the first meeting in November. Keep our eyes on that target. And then, we're moving into the time of year that it may have some weather, so there's always that risk that delays can come up from time to time. But it's striping, so it's generally, you just need a few days. You don't want to stripe when it's wet, but we can get out and probably move that fairly quickly. Councilmember Crosby, on your question on the crosswalks, we do have a contract with the Slurry Project right now. If we I'm intending to have some contingency, maybe that's an opportunity. I'll work with Director Wu and City Manager Domer on maybe doing a change order on those. Of course, if I'm not going to do it unless we get a better price than was bid. I can hear that goal there, but maybe that's an opportunity to get those taken care of sooner with an open contract. That project. Slurry Seal in the north part of town look like it's slated again, pending weather, for late October, and striping will probably follow thereafter sometime second week of November.
They're moving very fast, and they're covering up their concrete now, moving the telecom stuff. I've noticed that today, so they're doing really good. Cleaning up after.
So that might be an alternative opportunity to take care of some of those school zone safety items. We took care of a lot of them last year. Just had a few left this year to pick up, and so I don't know that we'll get them all, but it will certainly be a strategy that I'll work with Mr. Domer and Mr. Wu.
If we move forward with that, if you report back to us, because that is a very big concern, to make sure that those ones that didn't get hit, if we could, while they're striping, they can run down and hit some of those areas. Anyway, so
I think my only comment about this is that my feeling on this, in my opinion, is that when people can't follow directions, you're out in my book. So I really don't care about demo leaders in this sense. So that's fine. But and as far as people not responding, I also think, as Mr. Crosby said, that says something. Because if this is a relatively straightforward job, shouldn't be hard to do. If you didn't bid, it's because your schedule didn't allow it. You don't think you can do it. You don't want to do it. You won't do it for the price that we're saying you need to get it in for. So I'm inclined to believe that this is the best person that we're going to get. I think that if the vote goes that we want to go back out to bid, that's fine. It is what it is. But I would say, as part of the rubric, as you mentioned at the beginning, when you're rating the contractors that do come in with their qualifications and their numbers, to your point, this isn't a job that typically stripers are the prime. And that does come with a whole host of responsibilities and knowledge and skills that not every subcontractor has. So my ask would be that if there is not some proven experience in that field, I would have reluctance in terms of expecting someone to be able to know how to manage a sub and make sure that the work gets done on time and under budget. So
sound like a gold line.
That would be my ask. That if that's going to be the will of this council, that has to be included in the rubric. I don't want somebody just because they have the lowest number. You better know what you're doing.
Track record.
Understood.
With that, any more discussion? We have a motion to reject the bid and to go out to bid. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Yeah. Then I think we should vote then. Vote, please. Three to two.
Motion to reject the bid and go back out to bid. Motion by Mayor Hepburn, seconded by Johnson, approved. 3-2, Crosby and Loud dissenting.
Thank you very much. Thank you, staff. I appreciate that. We'll look forward to information to follow. That's it. Public comment. There's no other business tonight, so we move on to public comments. This is the time set aside for anyone wishing to address the City Council on items not listed on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from engaging in discussion on any item not in the posted agenda. Your concerns may be referred to staff and placed for discussion at a later date. We will be using a 3-minute time frame for this. At this time, those wishing to speak come to the podium. I do have some cards. Let's go with Andrew McKinley. Go for it. You're the timer now.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff. My name is Andrew McKinley. I'm the president of the Laverne Police Officers Association. Today makes 97 days without a contract. I spoke here before, and I meant every word that I said about our pride in the city, our commitment to its people, and the dedication of the officers who serve it every single day. I thank Mayor Hepburn, Councilmember Crosby for meeting with the POA board, and some members. We thank you for that, for you coming out of your way to meet with us. But tonight, I'm before you again, not angry, but disappointed. Disappointed that our department, one of the cornerstones of this community, ranks at the bottom of our comparison cities in compensation. That's not just a statistic. It's a reflection of how the people behind these badges feel. Undervalued and unappreciated. We've listened carefully to the council. You said you supported us. You said you're willing to spend more to help bridge the gap. And yet in negotiations, there's been little movement. Instead, we're presented with a proposal to shift 7% of education from base or into base. Something that looks like a raise on paper, but actually takes away from those who've earned that education incentive. For officers, it's not a raise, it's a relabel. The LVPOA has shown good faith at every step. We've cut our proposal from a gap of 250 down to 150, yet the city still hasn't been able to close the rest of the difference. Meanwhile, our officers continue to fill that void, left by unfilled positions. The months of September and this month of October, we have 168 overtime shifts, all of which keep the city running and safe. And while we understand the city must budget for all 45 open officer positions, it's important to remember that 5 officer vacancies and 1 sergeant vacancy has remained open for the entire last fiscal year. That's approximately $650,000 in savings. And that figure doesn't include the additional savings from the associated benefit package. Add to that the savings from 4 months without an active contract, and we're well over $750,000 that's been saved. But it's been saved on the backs of the very officers this community relies on. The city often speaks in terms of budgeted costs, but what truly matters are actual expenditures.
The budget might account for 45 filled positions, but the reality is that we don't have 45 positions. We haven't had it in quite some time. The difference between what's on paper and what's actually being spent is where fairness can and should be found. We're not asking to be at the top. We're asking for the median, to simply be the middle. Yet, despite delivering first-class service, we're being asked to settle for below average, below median. And that's disheartening. We love the city. We serve its people with pride. And all we're asking is for a contract that reflects the same respect, not in words, but in action. Because at the end of the day, we're not numbers on a spreadsheet. We're human beings. Fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters who wear this badge with pride, who show up when others run away, who simply want to be valued for the work we do and the sacrifices we make for this community. I thank you for your time and for listening with both your head and your hearts. Thank you.
Andrew. Thank you. Pat Weidolft. Is that correct? Oh, I did it.
Thank you, everybody, for presenting this forum so we can give our discussions and complaints. I came here a couple of months ago and talked about the pickleball noise causing nuisance to my home verbally. And then 6 weeks ago, I came and tried to get some questions answered. But today, I got some written materials that I want to hand out and go over that maybe will make a little more sense. I have 7 pages, but I guarantee I can. If you turn to page 1, kind of got a map that I got. Or no, that's the penal code. So nuisance I've talked about before, and it's a very nebulous, hazy word. But I just want you to look on that page. There is a crime done if nuisance is caused. There's a California penal code, and there's 4 requirements that I've already gone over that is caused by the pickleball noise to my house, to my property. The second page is a map that I got from Los Angeles County, and I got a P there and an X. The X is my property, and the P is where the pickleball court is located. And if you use their scale down at the bottom left-hand corner, that's 130 feet. I've also measured it with a tape measure, going where the pickleball court is to my house, my backyard, I should say, and it's also 130 feet. Pretty close to the pickleball court. If you look on page 3, I kind of took where the tennis courts were, and I split it up into 4. And the X is where the I took the tennis courts and split it up to where there was 4 before the pickleball courts were made. Well, what's really weird here, the pickleball courts were made at point X, and as you can see, the tennis courts slant away from the residence. And I have a question at the end of the class. I don't know why they picked the tennis court that was closest to the residence. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. And then the next page is an affidavit from somebody else besides me and my wife. And I'd like to read in the X, or the square. While inside the residence of Pat Weedolf, Karen Tandy, I personally heard a repetitive and distinctive sound that appeared to be a pickleball being struck by a paddle consistent with the sound made during a pickleball. And it tells us from the park, and we had our windows closed, and the fact, without even talking about decibels, the fact that you can hear this sound in a house is mind-boggling. I don't care if it's low or high. And actually, once in a while, it wakes my wife up in the morning, and that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Page 5, I skipped because it was all about decibels. I just tore it out. I didn't want to bore you with logarithms and how decibels are measured and all that, so I skipped that. Page 6, though, kind of important. That's where the outside sound is. And the last time I told you about sound, I had this kind of goofy sound meter that I spent not very much money on from Amazon. And now I got an app that's made by the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. And they say this works within plus or minus 2 decibels. So I had a friend come to my backyard, measure the sounds using this app, and he measured during 10 minutes. It got several sounds of 55 to 60 decibels, which is pretty high from the pickleball. Page 7 is kind of a little bit about the California Environmental Quality Act. I'll have a question about that. It says that state and local governments, which I assume you guys are, needs to have an environmental impact. Last page, real quick. I have the old questions I thought I was going to get the answers to. I knew you couldn't answer them that night because of the Brown Act, but I was thought I was going to be able to email and mail, but that's okay. You don't have to answer questions. But I do want to read the bottom 5 new questions just to make sure they're part of the record. Does the city of Laverne have a health officer per the Los Angeles Noise Control? If yes, who is it? Number 2, how was the decision made to build the pickleball courts in Los Flores Park? Was there a vote? Who votes? Who designed the court? And why did they pick the one that's the closest to the housing? That makes no sense either. And then, did you follow the California Environmental Quality Act guidelines? I went back 5 years and couldn't find any on their website, but they do allow exceptions. So maybe you applied for an exception not to do that. And the last question I asked this time before, if you hired a sound engineer to measure the decibel levels so you really know how loud they are. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir, thank you. We
Okay.
will refer this to staff. Thank you very much.
In conclusion, I hope you'll look into removing this nuisance from my property. Thank you for
sir.
listening.
Appreciate it. Hector, I'm gonna try it, okay? Kadamatori. Boy, I'm 3 for 3.
Yes. Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Hector Cademartori. The purpose of my visit tonight is as I put in my little card, railroad noise. We moved to Laverne a few months ago, in 1984. So we're coming up to our 40th anniversary as neighbors of the city of Laverne. In those days, there was a gentleman by the name John Blickenstuff. We live very close to him, and again, it's my presentation my presentation is about railroad noise. In those days, we knew that we lived fairly close to a railroad track, so we assumed that there were trains. Usually there are trains when there are railroad tracks, and once in a while we would see the freight train come over and blow their horn, and that's okay. We live near the Fulton Street railroad crossing. But throughout the years, the rules of the game changed. First with the Metrolink, and I recall a few years ago attending a meeting of Metrolink. There was a presentation in Montclair about what they were doing and this and that, and I brought up the noise. The Metrolink were using these freight train horns, and the lady who was in charge of the presentation said that they were going to see if they could change their horns of the Metrolinks for those some didn't make that such a noise anyway. That didn't work, or at least as well as I thought. The horns were still very loud. And I remember asking them, some cities have quiet zones, what they call quiet zones, and is this something that we can consider in Laverne? And then she said, well, it is possible, but since we are in the process of working on the railroads and making some changes, it's not possible to have a quiet zone when you have work. When you're doing work, because I understand that. I mean, people who work at the railroad, they need to know when a train is coming. Maybe they are instructor or something, and they need to know. I understood that. Well, then the Metrolink, they finished the work, and then I thought that, well, maybe there's a chance now. But then the Metro Rail, the Gold Line started, and I thought, well, it's not worth asking again because they're working on the Gold Line. But now the Gold Line is finished. So I thought, well, maybe it will be an opportunity to ask for a quiet zone, and I thought that maybe perhaps the city of Laverne will have more resources than myself to make a presentation or before the authorities. And the Gold Line train is not that noisy. They have a little horn. That's okay. But the Metrolink, again, they increase their frequency and all that. So imagine in Laverne I believe we have Wheeler, we have D, we have C, we have White, we have Fulton in a very short distance, and I can hear the Metrolink coming from Wheeler to our railroad crossing in Fulton.
We can hear Metrolink
yes.
in North Laverne.
Yes, and
what we're going to do, we're kind of running out of time.
Yes,
what I'm going to do is get you in touch with our chief engineer,
okay.
Cody Howling, and discuss with him. I know this has been a topic of conversation,
okay.
so we'll let him discuss that with you and come back to us and see what our options are.
Yes,
and I appreciate that.
No, I thought that you guys would have a better resource to
right.
deal with this, and I believe that some of those engineers in the trains have some personal issues, and they release them with their horns.
That's a nice way to put it.
Oh my God, the guys go. Whoa.
Your points are well taken, and now that the construction's done, I think you should talk to Cody, and I appreciate your information and see what we can do.
Thank you for your time. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on public comment? Mr. Bowen.
That's hard to follow. Council, try to keep this quick. Cody, keep hearing Cody, and he's making presentation. He didn't work for the city, right? He's not a city employee. He works for
Arcade.
He works for a contract.
Contract.
The contracted engineer.
He's our city engineer.
Okay, but he doesn't work for the city.
No, he's a contract.
Okay,
he works for the city through a contract.
Okay, so he gets paid by
the city.
The city, and he has no fiduciary responsibility to RKA. His responsibility is only to the city of Laverne.
When he works for us, that's yeah.
So he has no fiduciary responsibility to RKA. He works for RKA.
He works, yeah, he's employed by RKA. We contract with RKA. Cody is our city engineer. So.
Okay, still asking a question. So he has no fiduciary responsibility to RKA, the company that he is an employee of.
Well, I'd have to understand better the context, though.
I mean, is he a partner? Is he a managing partner is what you're asking?
No, I'm not asking that. I'm saying, where's his
who writes his paycheck?
Ultimately, who is he responsible to, and where does his loyalty absolutely lie? Just a question. Potential conflict of interest would be my question. Let me go forward. As far as the POA is concerned, it just seems pretty crazy. $150,000. I just did the math. We have roughly 32,000 citizens, correct? I think it's $4.68 per citizen. I'll be happy to toss in my $5 right now. And if we can't come together and dig up $150,000, you got a pay raise recently, mid-contract. We hired a director at a very high salary with no engineering experience, so That's obviously maybe why we have to have RKA. So I just suggest that we come to the table. Thought that was going to happen the last meeting. Mr. Mayor called for a special meeting, but apparently nothing's happened. So just as a citizen, would love to have a fire or police department that has a contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Anita. Go, champ.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Who doesn't love Steve Carell from The Office? Please go to the Instagram and see Aaron's video. It's hilarious. I'm really surprised you haven't got a better response.
Are
It's
we
great.
plugging for Aaron?
Of course we are. I love the city videos.
The queen.
I also want to say thank you to Deborah or whoever does the calendar with the events. They're doing a great job. They're listing a lot more stuff. However, they're leaving out key information. So the most important thing on here is the water and sewer rate virtual workshop, but there's no URL or website of where they can go to participate. So, yeah, that's hard to do when you don't have the information of where to go. You know, we had the fire department and police department come in and talk about breast cancer, which is extremely serious and, you know, topic that I'm sure has affected all of us some way or another. And they do the special patches and shirts and merch and all that's great. But why are we not talking about mental health? Officer, excuse me, Andrew, I apologize, I forgot your last name. Thank you, McKinley. You know, these officers are working some serious overtime. This is really affecting their mental health. And it's really disappointing and disheartening, like he said, that the city has not finalized the agreement between the city and the police department. So I really would like to ask the council some way, somehow, if this can get resolved before the next city council meeting, which is October 20th. I know that there's some incidents that have taken place. There was an attempted home invasion robbery on Bowdoin. That is 1 block away from my house. That's three blocks away from Councilmember Crosby's house. What's happening, guys? You know, the crime is here. We got to deal with it now. We can't be behind the 8 ball. We've got to take this really seriously. Mayor Pro Tem Cash, I know you are all about safety, so I'm asking you to please make this a serious priority of this council. Please talk to the POA, find that money somewhere. Like Rick said, you know, I'll put in $10. Let's make this happen. This is really important. Finally, and I'm disappointed. I thought President of COGS, Mr. Reese, was going to be here. I'm reading the letter from City of Claremont that is signed by Mr. Reese and also by the mayor, Corey Kaleke. Why hasn't this council sent a letter to Governor Newsom regarding SB 79? For those of you that are not familiar with that, that is the transit law that are sarcastically saying Wiener the legislation he comes up with is unreal, but within a half a mile north or south of a major route of a bus route, a light rail, or a train, up to a 9-story building can be built exempt from CEQA, exempt from EIR, exempt from traffic studies. So Foothill Boulevard, you have major bus routes. So a half a mile north or south of that, a single family home residence can go for sale. A developer buys it. Boom, there's 9 units. And no traffic study. Where are these cars parking? What is it doing to our city traffic? We've already seen an influx of traffic on the Amherst community and Foothill Terrace on Fruit, and we're going to have more traffic with the new project from the old Lutheran High School. Where does this stop? Why isn't this city imploring the governor? I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars did this city spend for our staff to go do all of the research for the RENA numbers and make sure that they were in compliance with the state of California and submit all of that paperwork? This SB 79 is going to override all of that. And what do we have to show for that? You know, and here poor Erin's busting her butt trying to do another survey so that she can be in compliance for the next go around, and it's going to be all for nothing. This council needs to take this seriously and make sure that they write a letter to the governor as City of Claremont, you know, you're real buddy with Reese. Get a copy of the letter. I did, and I don't even know him. But I want to read something that's really important in their letter. It says, most alarmingly, SB 79 defies cities' general plans and provides transit agencies with land use authority on property they own that is adjacent to a transit stop. If the agency owns the land on or before January 1 of 2026 within half a mile of a transit stop, transit agencies would have the power to determine nearly all aspects of the development, including the height, density, and design, without any regard to local zoning or planning. I mean, our planning people are good people. They've brought good businesses and made good decisions in our city, and all of that is going to just be shot to hell. Excuse my French. Okay, I just want to finish this one paragraph. By expanding the role to include the housing developers and land use authorities, the measure could continue to stretch out already thin agencies that are dealing with funding shortfalls and the lack of expertise in land use planning and development. It is fiscally unsound to assign a new responsibility to housing development when they are struggling to sustain core operations. Our state is facing a serious deficit, and they're talking about building this nonsense. So please, as my elected officials, I am asking that you please address these serious issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken, you want to respond to that, or you want to wait? What's that? Yeah, we have anybody else on public comment? Yvonne. Yeah.
I wanted to hopefully end this meeting with an upbeat story, but I don't really know what Kathy has to say. And I wasn't really prepared to debate SB 79. So recently I needed to go on a trip to Cleveland, Ohio. My nephew accompanied me, and I just wanted to say that we took a stadium tour of the baseball stadium where the Cleveland Guardians play, and the tour left you off in the gift shop, obviously. And as we were exiting the gift shop, a lady came running up to us. My nephew had his LDPD 2025 Pink Patch Project t-shirt on, and a lady came running up to us and said, "Is that Laverne, California?" And we said, "Yes." And she says, "Oh my gosh." She goes, "I lived in Laverne." She's like, "I was born and raised in Temple City. I lived in Monrovia and Doherty, and then I moved to Laverne." And she said, "I miss it so much, and I love it there so much." She goes, "And I'll always be a California girl." And I just wanted to share that experience because the long reach of Laverne
Thank you, Vaughn.
was found in Cleveland, Ohio. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Kathy.
Kathy Kalusek, 3rd Street. I'm going to piggyback on the train thing, and it may still be in progress or process, and maybe it's a Cody question, but I have noticed I used East Street quite a bit to go south to Arrow, and I have noticed the signaling there. The south side of Arrow is green, but the red in the middle, and I stuttered one time too and stopped real quick. I've been behind like 5 different people that did the same thing. If someone goes through that and they're on those tracks, there is white, at least there's a little space, so your car could be in between. But yeah, so I'm hoping that they will get that straightened out. My other thing is I also support our Laverne Police Department. So anything we can do to get this settled, because they're great people and we need them. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Any other public comments? We'll close public comment. Mr. Domer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. Please, for all of our veto requests, for all of our support or opposition letters, go to lavernca.gov/legislation. And so we've sent on SB 79, because it is an absolutely horrible bill. We sent our first opposition letter on April 28th. And then we sent our second one on August 19th. And then on September 23rd, we sent our veto request to Governor Newsom. So There's a whole bunch of other letters up there, probably 3 dozen or more, that the council has taken action on to support, oppose, and then, of course, now we're following up with the veto request because there's not too much longer before the governor has to sign or veto everything. So, but yes, so there's a lot of stuff on our website, and then always, if there's any questions, just give us a call. So,
the governor has till Monday, 13th. Can I speak on that 1 second? Just what I was in a meeting today at the COG, and yes, this is serious. There's right now trying to hear back from our senator because she is not supporting it either. The best way is to flood the governor's office with emails and phone calls. That's number one. Trying to figure out how we can do this. And so, yes, it's serious. And it's, as Mr. Domer said, now, because it could come on any day that he's going to, it's on his desk for signature. They usually group those together with like for like type, housing bills. So, yes, point well taken. Thank you. Mr. Crosby.
First of all, I want to thank the council for excusing my absence the last meeting. I was present at my daughter's college golf, where she came tied for 6 out of 78 golfers. So she did a really good job. With her team came in second place. Thank you, Mr. Domer, for putting forward my choices for the committees, and appreciate the people that everyone that put in for those committees and willing to help and support Laverne. The opening of the A line, yeah, they've been blowing those horns a lot, but on that first weekend, I had the opportunity to take the A line to a USC football game. USC was playing at 8 o'clock that night. I took it down there and to ride it, and then they close at midnight, so I had to leave at the start of the fourth quarter because someone was injured. It was already like 11:15. I was the last person on the train to get off in Laverne. Yes, it was me. I was not a bunch of the homeless people. I was that person. But it was a smooth trip all the way through. I had to get off once, and the next train took it on to get to the Coliseum. I got to tailgate responsibly and come back responsibly home too. I got to do it responsibly. But that was the first time I ever rode it, and it was a trip that I would do again. So though I understand the people living right around it, because I do still even hear I live by the freeway, and hear it even over the freeway sometimes through. Mr. Domer, I would like you, as I spoke about 6 months ago too, about the pickleball stuff, if looking at the material that can go on the outside of the courts to help damper the sound on that as well. Please look into just for what the cost would that be, and to bring back to us, because I know they make those things to help reduce the sound for all of our neighbors as well.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Mr. Johnson.
I do want to thank the Laverne PD and the fire department for everything that you do to keep all of our citizens safe. I think it's a priority of this entire council that we get a contract negotiated as soon as we can. It's not an easy situation that we're in as far as revenue and being able to accommodate everybody's demands, but we are trying our best, and we should be getting something done, hopefully sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Councilmember Lau.
So just a couple of things. I know as you continue to see the A-line getting used, I would just urge, if there are still issues with the traffic signals and all of that fun stuff, just to keep reporting them so that we can get them fixed. I know that the testing period was prior to the 9/19 opening day, but as you know, all things come with their quirks. So if we can just make sure that that information is getting sent to the right people so we can help correct it, that would be fantastic. I know that some of my council members were able to ride the train on opening day. I was at a board meeting that day and got to see some of the festivities, but it really does look to be a nice ride for lots of folks. So hopefully that will help drive revenue into our city and help with some of the issues that we're facing budgetarily over the next couple of years. This last weekend was ULV's homecoming. I'm sorry if you missed it. I hope you come next year. They did a beautiful job with Taste of International ULV on Friday night with donations of wine from Councilmember Sal Medina from Claremont, who's an alumnus of the institution. And then there was a lovely homecoming day of fun. And I'm hoping to see more of our local businesses participate. This year, I know Hotworks was out there, a couple of other businesses were out there, and there was so much foot traffic. So I hope they got lots of business because any other business that we can drive into the city to raise our revenues would be great. So you'll hear me talk a lot about please spend your dollars in Laverne. I'd also like to just, for people who might be interested, there is a Tri-City Mental Health Authority meeting on Wednesday, October 15th at 5 p.m. So for those that are interested, you can attend in person or you may attend via Zoom, and the information is on Tri-City's website. And I know every month seems to be a month of months, like lots of things happening in all those months. We've talked about breast cancer awareness. We've talked about, fire awareness, all of these things. I know that the next meeting you'll hear about Domestic Violence Awareness Month is also this month. And so there are some events that the House of Ruth is sponsoring that will take place before our next meeting. So I wanted to make sure that I shared some of those with folks. So there will be a peace walk in Pomona starting at 3 p.m. on October 9th. It'll commence at Pomona Valley Hospital and conclude at the House of Ruth. On 10/16, there's a candlelight vigil that will be held at House of Ruth at 6 p.m. And there will be a survivor panel at 6 p.m. at ULV on October 28th. So domestic violence does affect both genders and is more prevalent than I'm sure lots of us would like to admit. But please just keep that in mind as you go through this month. And then I know that Mayor Hepburn will talk a little bit about our Pomona Laverne Ad Hoc Committee regarding the fire services. So I'll let him take the lead on that, and I'll chime in if necessary. But other than that, have a good week. It is my favorite month of the year. I hope you enjoy it too. If you haven't driven down Bonita and seen Jaws and Barbie coexisting.
A lot of Jaws.
Yeah, a lot of Jaws. 50th anniversary.
Those are $400 a piece. The Jaws.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more troubled by the fact that it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws because that makes me feel real old.
Oh, it makes you feel old? Thank you, Councilman Lowe. Mayor Pro Tem Cash.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank all our amazing city staff for constantly getting out there and doing the best you can for our city. Just a little something that I wanted most people to know that I started my law enforcement career in this city as a police cadet with the city of Laverne, and I never forgot that. And I never forgot all our amazing men and women that represent us in our city. And no one understand that your city council and your staff here will do everything in our power to continue to keep and supporting our police officers and our firefighters and all our city staff. One team, one mission. So I just want to put that out there, and now Mayor will talk a little bit more about some other stuff, so I'll leave that for him. Good mayor that we have and our great support of our city. Having said that, great support of our city, I want to thank the folks from Lighthouse Baptist Church. You had that opportunity. This is my third year going to the Lighthouse Baptist Church Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and it was Pastor Dunlop. That's right, Pastor Dunlop. Amazing guy. It was really just amazing just to be there and listen. And I know our police chief was there, Sam Gonzalez, and it was good to see him, and our captain that was there, and all the law enforcement agencies that serve in the surrounding areas. So I want to thank them for hosting that again. Our continued support there, and there's some other people that were there that were running for also office that were supportive. So God bless them in their journey. So that's what I have. This Friday, again, I am your vice president for the San Gabriel Valley Vector Control Board. Hey, I
Can
don't
you
know.
stop the mosquitoes biting my
I'm
wife?
working on it. I'm working
Please.
on it.
Please.
I'm working on it. Listen, you got any issues, please just let me know. Anything I could share with them.
Why don't you
to bring
put that
some
big
resources.
mosquito outfit on and
I will.
go up to the house and get those mosquitoes out of here?
I will. I'll scare them all away by the reservoir and down along the wash. You got it. No problem. Anything for you guys. I'm willing to do for our great city. So thank you, and I'll pass it on to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Cash. Yes, yesterday it was a really nice ceremony for Law Enforcement Appreciation Day by the Lighthouse Baptist Church. As Mayor Pro Tem Cash mentioned, Chief was there, our Captain was there, a number of the officers, but CHP, sheriffs, Upland seemed to win the prizes. There was 4 major trips that they had. I think Upland went away with two of them. But they had a barbecue. They had a huge barbecue. They had gift bags for every officer that showed up, and just they did a sermon, obviously for it was a very nice sermon. But just the gathering and the kids and the families was just a really nice day, and they do an amazing job. And Chief, how long have they done this for us? I've been there 3 or 4 times. Fifth year. So it just they really do a very, very nice job celebrating our police officers. So again, we were well represented. Thank you again, Chief. His wife was there with him, and it was just a beautiful day. Also, I forgot to mention that we have a pumpkin patch that's started. If you guys don't know that at Heritage Park, a lot of the schools go there just before the pumpkin patch opens, which it opened this Friday on the 3rd. The schools come, and they can buy their pumpkins and from all over the area. We're one of the only schools or one of the only areas that does it, and it's pretty amazing. But the pumpkin patch is open Fridays from 4 to 8, Saturdays from 10 to 8, and Sundays from 10 to 8 p.m. So make sure we make them successful because they do a great job there. I've got a couple statements. I think we'll start off with the police officers. And the same feelings for everyone else. We want to get this resolved, but it has to be equitable on both parties. So City Council and I deeply value the service and dedication of our police officers. Their daily work is essential to the safety of our community, and we remain committed to fair and sustainable compensation that reflects the service. Negotiations with the PO have been ongoing for several months. The city has consistently bargained in good faith and presented a last, best, and final offer that includes a 3-year agreement with an annual salary growth amounting to 9% increase during the term of the MOU. Enhancements to base pay, improved medical contributions, and cost-sharing changes. In response to feedback from POA members, including in-person meetings with myself and Councilmember Crosby, the city also entertained informal proposal concepts with added stipends for post-certifications, longevity bonuses, and medical benefit adjustments, while keeping the overall costs within fiscally responsible limits. While the council is dedicated to trying to listen and work with POA, the financial reality is clear. The city used $1 million in one-time funds to balance this year's budget and tapped $450,000 in reserves last year. Our ongoing revenues do not cover ongoing expenses, and adopting the PO's original proposals would push our main compensation fund measure of the LB into deficit within a few years. We remain hopeful that an agreement can be reached, one that honors our officers' work and maintains the financial stability needed to support all city services in the long term. We are committed, and we are trying. Now, as Councilman Loud mentioned about the possibility of joint fire services, she and I serve on the ad hoc committee, and we had a meeting that took place on October 2nd. The meeting lasted several hours and was both productive and collaborative. We came together with a shared goal to evaluate path forward to ensure efficient, high-quality fire and EMS services for both cities, if we find a regional approach is the best for both of us. Early in the meeting, the committee reached a strong consensus on committing to further fact-finding and analysis. That vision includes commitment to public safety excellence, fiscal responsibility, and innovative potential regional partnership, a first of its kind in the region. As part of the work, the Joint Ad Hoc Committee conducted a comprehensive review of 3 service delivery options that are available to the city of Pomona. Much of the subsequent focus was dedicated on analyzing the financial, operational, and governance implications for forming a new regionalized fire district in partnership with the city of Pomona. This was done in comparison to the projected long-term costs associated with connecting fire services from Los Angeles County or starting its own independent fire department. The initial financial analysis indicates that forming a new fire district between Laverne and Pomona could result in substantial cost savings for both cities without compromising on service quality or operational standards. While these findings are encouraging and will help guide our next steps, we are committed to performing our due diligence to ensure the benefit of the city of Verne is respectively equitable to our city as much as it is to Pomona. And I make that very clear. We've scheduled future ad hoc meetings to continue the important work, and we remain committed to a transparent, collaborative process with our partners in Pomona. As a neighboring stakeholder, it is critical that we remain engaged and vocal in this issue. We look forward to bringing additional updates in greater detail as the discussions progress and we move closer toward a long-term option that protects our residents and ensures responsible stewardship of our public safety resources. Councilmember Lau, you have anything to add?
Just for edification of the public, I know there were a couple comments at the last meeting in particular about, what does this mean for Laverne? We don't want to see services decrease in Laverne. We want to make sure that what's being proposed is something that is actually going to be effective and efficient, and that we aren't tied to someone else's timeline. And I think that in these conversations, I think it's to the credit of the council members from both Pomona and from our city that none of us are shy.
To say the least.
And I think we're pretty vocal about the concerns that have been raised within the city of Laverne and what that looks like. And so I think, for them, they understand, for Pomona, I think they understand that this is an exploratory, event, that we're looking into data. We want it to be factual. We want this to be a smart decision, because if we can effectuate cost savings and possibly revenues, fantastic. But again, it has to be done correctly, and we have to do it thoughtfully, and we cannot be doing this under the gun. So I think that, those parameters were made very clear, and I think we've committed to these additional meetings, which are no joke. They're about 4 hours each. So that's quite a chunk of the day.
We call it a deep dive, and it's a deep dive.
Yeah, that's definitely a deep dive. So I think we'll have more to report. I think the first one was really a lot of level setting, a lot of, what are everybody's concerns. Let's put them out there for everybody to think about. And the next is really going to be examining what does that really look like, and is it really feasible or not. So you'll hear more from us as these events occur or these meetings occur. So, but I did want to let folks know that both the mayor and I were very explicit in the concerns raised by our residents.
Thank you, Councilman. I appreciate that. The most important thing is to protect our city, to make sure that we're getting protection, and there's nothing that happens to our city that would be against our residents. So we are working diligently with that. It was a good meeting, very good meeting, but it is definitely a deep dive. With that, our next regular city council meeting will be on Monday, October 20th at 6:30 p.m. Correct, Mr. Domer? And then as a reminder, upcoming events and meetings are posted on the last page of the city council agenda. And if you have any questions, you can call staff, but look at our website, look at the police officers, also our fire, and also all of our community services, our parks and recreation. That's the one. Anyway, for any upcoming items, we will adjourn at 8:50 p.m. Thank you all for being here.